I've talked about what cheating does to relationships and how I work with them in my office on my YouTube channel before. But one of the things that I haven't really gone into is a special guide or just a list of things that I think it's really important not to do after it's been disclosed the first time that there's been cheating in the marriage. When one partner reveals it or one partner finds out about an affair or cheating, they react drastically, and that's to be expected. I'm certainly not blaming them. There's a lot of hurt, a lot of fear, shock, confusion. All these feelings make you react. You're on high alert. You're scared. You're thinking about your survival, and you go into a fight or flight. And many times, with that reaction of what's going on visceral, you make decisions that are not in your best interest, especially if you want to save the marriage. In my personal practice, about 2/3 of my couples stay together after infidelity has been disclosed. It isn't easy, and this is only the group I'm working with. So I have no idea what happens on the outside world. There's a lot of people who, when they go through an affair or they find out there's an affair, their immediate reaction is first to deny it. You are in shock. You keep thinking, if I just sweep it under the rug, and those same couples or partners tell themselves, this is common, this happens to a lot of marriages, this may have happened to someone in their family, or they'll start saying things like all men cheat or all women cheat or I should have known. And the sooner they get out of that line of thinking, in other words, the longer they use denial, the more damage is being done to the marriage, because the only way out, or the only way to a healthier part of your marriage, or yourself for that matter, if you're not going to save the marriage, is to walk through the feeling. You don't want to numb it. You don't want to deny it. You basically want to face it. But the way you face it is everything. So I'm going to give you things not to do and what I think is better instead. The first thing is, people who tell everybody are making a huge mistake. You may think, I'm going to tell all these people so they'll hate my partner as much as I do right now. They'll be as angry. I'm going to tell his parents, they can talk to him. I'm going to tell my best friends so they know what a rat he is or what a rat she is, or how could they do this to me, or how selfish that they would do this to me or my family. The more people you tell, the more you're jeopardizing that sacredness of trying to preserve this marriage. There's a lot of reasons why, but the main one is the more people you tell, you're giving those people permission to judge your partner, to judge your marriage. And that's going to be really hard if you try to work it out, that they've already formed an opinion and they're not going to work with you. They're going to do everything they can to try and help you break up or leave this marriage, because that's people's thinking, at least a lot of people's thinking, and that may not be in your best interest or your children's best interest. So once again, what I want you to do is keep it confidential between the two of you. There will be time to talk about it to other people, but for now, you're going to keep it sacred in the marriage and deal with each other one-on-one with sit-down talks. Secondly, if you start blasting it out on social media, especially talking badly about your partner, things that are on social media never go away. And if you're going to try and work this out, think about it. It's still on social media, and people are going to remind you, what? Because people are not going to be as forgiving that they're just responding to social media. They're going to constantly tell you, how could you stay with this person? What's the matter with you? Have you no self-respect? And all that work you're doing on a personal level, if you're working with a therapist, I hope you are, or whoever you're working with, it's going to undo that. And especially if you talk badly about your partner. If you have kids, they're going to see that. They might not see it now, but it won't go away, and they will eventually have access to that. And their parents or whoever sees it are going to tell maybe, or their kids are going to hear about it, telling your kids about it, and you can see where that could truly backfire. You don't want to do that. You want to stay, if you're still married, faithful to the marriage, to your vows, once again, keeping it close. There is someone you can tell, and that person is a therapist. And I highly recommend that you get a therapist right away. Might not need to be a couples therapist, might need to be an individual therapist, depending on what the need is. More than likely, you're going to need emotional support. You're going to need someone who can help you get clarity, help walk you through the stages and what you should do for marriage survival, or in the event that you're going to leave the marriage, no matter what. A therapist, don't think for a second you can do this on your own. People who try to do this on their own usually have trust issues that are never resolved in the marriage. In other words, you can stay together, you can do it on your own, but do you want to live in a marriage that you can no longer trust? Probably the answer is no. So go ahead, make an investment, one of the best investments you can, and get a therapist, and do that as soon as you can. The next thing you don't want to do is you don't want to make life-changing decisions right now. Give it a year. A year after a divorce is a good time to think about a move, is to think about a new job, is to, consider where you, if you're going to get an apartment or a condo or buy a new car or something else that's going to cost a lot of money. Don't do it right away, because many times those retail, what you're putting your money into it, are ways of getting back to your partner. That feeling is real. You want vengeance, you want some kind of righteousness. Don't do it through a life-altering, different change, because it's not going to benefit you in the long run or your children. And lastly, don't blame the other person. Don't blame the person they cheated with. Don't talk about it. Don't obsess about them. Doesn't matter what they look like. Doesn't matter what they do. Basically, you know one thing up front. Whoever your partner cheated with lacks character. But ultimately, it was your partner's choice that decided to cheat. Your partner who cheated takes all the responsibility. You can say, I probably had some responsibility in the marriage, or what was it that I didn't ask about it sooner, or whatever you want to do. But I wouldn't get stuck in blaming myself either, because at the end of the day, we all make choices. And if your partner decided to cheat, then they are the one that has to make the biggest, the biggest effort, the biggest apologies, the biggest remorseful feeling. They're the one that has to do all of that to change the trajectory so you can end up with a better marriage than you started before cheating. If this video is helpful for you, please subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much.